Charlie Kirk, A Life Remembered, by T.S. Preface. The life of Charlie Kirk was marked by courage, integrity, and profound humanity. Though his journey was tragically cut short, the depth of his character, the warmth of his relationships, and the impact of his actions have left an indelible mark on all who knew him. This memorial book is written to honor his memory, to reflect upon the principles he lived by, and to preserve the stories, lessons, and enduring presence of a man whose life continues to inspire. Charlie Kirk was more than the sum of his achievements. He was a devoted family member, a loyal friend, a trusted colleague, and a guiding presence in his community. He approached each day with thoughtfulness and care, offering support, encouragement, and understanding to those around him. His compassion was quiet yet profound, his integrity unwavering, even in the face of challenges. These qualities defined not only his life, but the lives of all who had the privilege of knowing him. The pages that follow trace the journey of Charlie's life from his early years and formative experiences to the defining moments of adulthood, and from the cherished memories shared with loved ones to the reflections of friends, colleagues, and community members. Through these recollections, we witness a life lived with intention, guided by principle, and rich in love, empathy, and moral courage. This memorial also seeks to capture the lessons inherent in Charlie's life, the enduring value of integrity, the transformative power of compassion, and the importance of courage in the face of adversity. Though his life ended far too soon, the principles he embodied and the impact he made endure, offering guidance and inspiration to all who reflect upon his story. As we honor Charlie Kirk, we are reminded that the measure of a life is not only in its duration, but in the love shared, the kindness shown, and the positive difference made in the lives of others. May this book serve as a testament to a life well lived, a legacy of virtue and compassion, and a source of comfort and inspiration for all who remember him. Part 1. A Life Remembered. 1. Early Years. Charlie Kirk was born into a world that would soon feel the breadth of his presence, a world that would come to know the depth of his character and the warmth of his heart. From the earliest days of his childhood, Charlie displayed qualities that would define his life: curiosity, empathy, and a quiet strength that inspired those around him. Family and friends recall a boy whose attentiveness and sensitivity to others were apparent, even in small, everyday gestures. Whether sharing a toy with a sibling, offering comfort to a friend in distress, or observing the world with a thoughtful gaze, Charlie's actions reflected an early awareness of the importance of kindness, fairness, and connection. These formative moments, often unnoticed by the wider world, were the seeds of a character that would grow to leave an enduring legacy. Charlie's childhood was also marked by a natural curiosity about the world. He asked questions not only to learn, but to understand, to seek clarity and meaning in the experiences around him. This inquisitiveness would shape the way he approached challenges, engaged with others, and ultimately navigated the responsibilities of adulthood. Even in times of difficulty, Charlie's resilience shone through. Early experiences taught him the value of patience, reflection, and moral clarity, lessons that would remain with him throughout his life. Friends and family remember not just his laughter and joy, but the depth of his empathy and the seriousness with which he approached relationships, learning, and the responsibilities of growing up. Through these early years, Charlie Kirk began to craft the foundation of a life that would be defined not by circumstance, but by the strength of character, the care for others, and the moral courage that would distinguish him in every sphere of life. Though the world would only later come to recognize the full measure of his presence, those who knew him in these formative years understood that Charlie was a boy whose life would be extraordinary, not in fame, but in the quiet, enduring influence of his heart and character. 2. Becoming himself. As Charlie Kirk moved from childhood into adolescence, the qualities glimpsed in his early years began to take fuller form. This period of life was one of exploration, self-discovery, and the gradual emergence of the values and convictions that would guide him through adulthood. Family and friends recall a young Charlie, whose curiosity and thoughtfulness were matched by a growing sense of responsibility. He began to understand not only the world around him, but also his own role within it, developing a keen awareness of fairness, justice, and empathy. These traits were evident in the way he treated peers with respect, patience, and encouragement, and in the way he approached new challenges thoughtfully, weighing choices and consequences. During these years, Charlie cultivated the foundations of personal integrity that would come to define him. He demonstrated a commitment to honesty, a loyalty to those he cared for, and a willingness to stand by his principles, even when doing so required courage or perseverance. Friends remember him as someone who could be counted on, whose word carried weight, and whose actions consistently aligned with his beliefs. Adolescence also brought moments of self-expression and individuality. Charlie began to explore his interests, talents, and aspirations with increasing clarity. Whether through study, creative pursuits, or social engagement, he approached life with curiosity, openness, and a determination to understand both himself and others. These formative experiences shaped his confidence, strengthened his character, and laid the groundwork for the meaningful contributions he would make in adulthood. Through these years, the essence of Charlie Kirk continued to emerge, a young man of thoughtfulness, moral clarity, and empathy, who valued integrity and connection above recognition or acclaim. Those who witnessed his growth understood that Charlie was becoming not only himself, but a person whose presence would deeply impact the lives of many. In reflecting upon this period, it becomes clear that the foundations of Charlie's life, his courage, compassion, and unwavering commitment to principle, were not sudden developments, but the natural culmination of years of careful cultivation, reflection, and dedication to living rightly. It was here, in the transition from boyhood to young manhood, that Charlie truly began to become the person we remember today. 3. The journey of adulthood. Adulthood brought with it both opportunities and responsibilities that would test and illuminate Charlie Kirk's character. The principles nurtured during his early years and adolescence became the guiding force for the life he would lead, one marked by integrity, compassion, and quiet determination. Professional life and purpose. Charlie approached his work with dedication, diligence, and a sense of purpose that transcended personal ambition. Colleagues recall a man who led not for recognition, but through example, demonstrating fairness, accountability, and moral clarity in every decision. He viewed his professional endeavors as opportunities to serve others, contribute to his community, and uphold the values he held dear. His work ethic, combined with humility and respect for others, earned him admiration, trust, and lasting friendships. Personal growth and relationships. Adulthood also brought deeper and more meaningful relationships. Charlie nurtured bonds of trust and loyalty with family and friends, offering guidance, support, and companionship. His presence was characterized by attentiveness, kindness, and unwavering reliability. Whether celebrating joyous milestones or providing comfort in times of difficulty, Charlie's connections reflected the depth of his character and the sincerity of his care. Community and civic engagement. Beyond personal and professional spheres, Charlie actively engaged with the wider community. He recognized that a meaningful life involves service and responsibility to others. From volunteering and mentoring to advocating for fairness and justice, Charlie's actions reflected a commitment to the common good. He approached challenges with thoughtful consideration and courage, leaving a positive impact that would be felt long after individual moments had passed. Challenges and resilience. Even in adulthood, life presented trials that tested Charlie's resolve. Yet he faced adversity with calm determination, moral clarity, and steadfast courage. Friends and colleagues recall his ability to remain composed, reflective, and principled, even in moments of stress or uncertainty. These qualities not only helped him navigate difficulties, but inspired those around him to act with similar integrity and resilience. A life of purpose. Through work, relationships, and community engagement, Charlie Kirk's adulthood exemplified a life lived intentionally. He cultivated a legacy not only through achievements, but through the principles he embodied, the care he offered, and the positive influence he had on every life he touched. His journey as an adult was a testament to the enduring power of character, compassion, and courage, qualities that would define the impact of his life on the world. 4. Cherished moments. While Charlie Kirk's life was defined by principle, courage, and service, it was also rich with moments of joy, laughter, and connection, moments that illuminated his humanity and left lasting impressions on all who shared them. These cherished experiences reveal the heart of a man who valued not only accomplishment, but presence, relationship, and the simple pleasures of life. Family and home. Charlie's family was at the center of his world. He nurtured bonds that were steadfast, loving, and attentive. From shared meals to quiet conversations, from celebrations to everyday routines, he approached family life with devotion and care. Loved ones remember his attentiveness, his thoughtful gestures, and the way he made ordinary moments feel extraordinary. In family, Charlie found both joy and purpose, offering guidance, warmth, and unwavering support. Friendships and community. Charlie's friendships were marked by loyalty, empathy, and sincerity. He listened with patience, offered counsel with discretion, and celebrated the achievements of those around him without envy or pretense. Friends recall moments of laughter, shared adventures, and the quiet reassurance of his presence. In the community, Charlie extended this same care, fostering connections and inspiring others through his integrity, kindness, and generosity. Hobbies and passions. Beyond the spheres of family and work, Charlie embraced personal interests with curiosity and enthusiasm. Whether through reading, creative pursuits, or exploration of the natural world, he approached his hobbies with joy and dedication. These pursuits were more than leisure. They were expressions of his intellect, curiosity, and capacity for wonder. They provided moments of reflection and fulfillment, enriching his life and the lives of those who shared in these experiences. Celebrating life's simple joys, Charlie understood that the significance of life often lies in small, meaningful moments, a shared smile, a quiet conversation, a gesture of care. He recognized that these simple joys, accumulated over time, are what make a life memorable. Friends and family remember him not only for the monumental occasions, but for the everyday kindnesses, laughter, and attentiveness that characterized his presence. A legacy of connection. The cherished moments of Charlie Kirk's life reveal a man whose greatest gift was his capacity to connect deeply with others. Through love, friendship, mentorship, and quiet acts of generosity, he wove a network of relationships that continue to carry his influence forward. These moments, both ordinary and extraordinary, stand as a testament to a life lived fully rich with meaning, warmth, and humanity. Part 2. The Spirit of Charlie. 5. His character and values. The essence of Charlie Kirk's life was found not only in what he did, but in who he was, his character, principles, and the values that guided him in every choice, interaction, and endeavor. To understand Charlie is to understand a man whose life was rooted in integrity, empathy, courage, and a steadfast commitment to others. Integrity and moral courage. Charlie's integrity was unwavering. He approached life with honesty, transparency, and a clear sense of right and wrong. Friends and colleagues alike remember him as someone whose word could always be trusted, whose actions reflected his beliefs, and whose moral compass remained steady, even in difficult circumstances. This courage of principle was not loud or ostentatious. It was quiet, deliberate, and powerful in its consistency. Compassion and empathy. Perhaps the most enduring aspect of Charlie's character was his capacity for compassion. He listened deeply, offered comfort without expectation, and approached others with genuine understanding. Whether helping a friend navigate a personal challenge or supporting a colleague in need, Charlie's empathy was an active force, shaping his relationships and leaving a lasting impact on all who experienced it. Loyalty and devotion. Charlie valued loyalty in both personal and professional spheres. He cultivated relationships grounded in trust, care, and mutual respect. Family members recall his steadfast devotion. Friends remember his unwavering presence, and colleagues admired his reliability. Charlie demonstrated that true loyalty is measured not in grand gestures alone, but in the consistent attention, support, and care offered day by day. Humility and grace. Despite his accomplishments and the respect he earned, Charlie remained humble and gracious. He prioritized principle over recognition, substance over show, and valued meaningful connection above accolades. This humility amplified the influence of his character, inspiring admiration not through words or titles, but through the quiet strength of example. A life guided by values. From early childhood to his final days, Charlie Kirk's life was consistently guided by these core values. Integrity, empathy, loyalty, humility, and courage were not abstract ideals, but lived experiences, evident in both monumental decisions and everyday actions. These principles were the foundation of his character, shaping his relationships, his work, and his lasting influence on the world. In reflecting on Charlie's life, it becomes clear that his greatest legacy was not simply his achievements, but the quality of his character. Through the values he lived by, he left an enduring imprint on the hearts and minds of all who knew him, an example of how a life rooted in principle and care can create ripples of influence far beyond its immediate sphere. 6. His voice and words. Charlie Kirk's presence was not only felt through his actions, but through the words he spoke and shared. His voice, whether in conversation or quiet reflection, carried thoughtfulness, wisdom, and compassion. Those who knew him often recall that listening to Charlie was an experience of both understanding and inspiration, guidance and counsel. Charlie had a rare ability to offer guidance that was both clear and compassionate. Friends, colleagues, and family members sought his counsel because he approached every concern with patience, empathy, and insight. His words were never dismissive or hurried. Instead, they reflected careful consideration and a genuine desire to help. In moments of uncertainty or difficulty, Charlie's advice often provided clarity, reassurance, and moral perspective. Encouragement and uplift. Beyond guidance, Charlie's words frequently uplifted those around him. Whether through a personal note, a casual conversation, or an encouraging gesture, he had a way of instilling confidence and hope. Friends recall receiving small, thoughtful messages that brightened difficult days, while colleagues remember his ability to recognize potential and inspire effort without condescension. His words were a reflection of his belief in the inherent value and dignity of each person he encountered. Thoughtfulness and reflection. Charlie's speech and writing were marked by thoughtfulness and deliberation. He measured his words carefully, choosing honesty, tempered with kindness, and speaking with both humility and conviction. In this manner, Charlie's voice became a mirror of his character, principled, empathetic, and sincere, a lasting legacy through words. Though Charlie's life was tragically short, his words continue to resonate. Letters, notes, and memories of his conversations provide enduring lessons in empathy, integrity, and moral courage. They remind us that communication, when guided by care and principle, can be a force for comfort, understanding, and inspiration. Charlie Kirk's voice was more than sound. It was an extension of his spirit. It carried the values he lived by, reflected the compassion he embodied, and offered guidance and solace to those who sought it. Even now, his words remain a source of encouragement and a testament to the life of a man who understood that language, like action, can shape the world for the better. 7. His presence in the world. Charlie Kirk's influence extended far beyond the immediate circles of family and friends. Through his work, civic engagement, and daily interactions, he left a lasting mark on the community and on the lives of countless individuals. His presence in the world was defined not by prominence or acclaim, but by integrity, empathy, and the quiet strength of example. Professional and civic contributions. In professional settings, Charlie's character shaped not only his work, but also the culture around him. Colleagues remember him as fair, dependable, and principled, someone whose leadership inspired respect and trust. He approached challenges thoughtfully, balancing determination with compassion, and consistently prioritized ethical action over expediency. Beyond his career, Charlie engaged meaningfully in the civic and communal spheres. Whether volunteering, mentoring, or advocating for fairness and justice, he contributed his time, energy, and insight to causes larger than himself. These contributions were often understated, yet their impact was profound, reflecting a life committed to service, responsibility, and the greater good. Inspiring others through example. Charlie's presence was also a quiet, persistent source of inspiration. He demonstrated through both action and demeanor that integrity, empathy, and moral courage are not abstract ideals but living practices. People who interacted with him often found themselves motivated to act with greater care, thoughtfulness, and fairness. His example provided guidance not through instruction alone, but through the authenticity of his life. A ripple effect of influence, the full measure of Charlie's presence, is seen in the enduring impact on those whose lives he touched. Family, friends, colleagues, and community members all carry forward lessons gleaned from his words, actions, and character. These ripples of influence continue to shape behavior, inspire service, and foster integrity, testaments to a life that radiated purpose and principle. Legacy beyond measure. Charlie Kirk's presence in the world was a quiet force for good, extending beyond immediate relationships to influence communities and institutions. In honoring him, we recognize that true presence is not defined by visibility or recognition, but by the consistent application of one's values, the compassion shown to others, and the courage to act rightly, even when unnoticed. Through this lens, Charlie's life reminds us that the impact of one individual, guided by principle and empathy, can extend far and wide, leaving a legacy that continues to resonate long after a life has ended. Part 3. Voices of Remembrance. 8. Family Reflections. Family members remember Charlie Kirk as a source of unwavering love, guidance, and comfort. From the earliest years of his life to his final days, he cultivated bonds rooted in trust, respect, and deep affection, relationships that continue to inspire and console those he left behind. A loving presence. Charlie's family recalls a man whose presence was constant, supportive, and attentive. He celebrated milestones with genuine joy, offered guidance with patience and care, and provided comfort during times of sorrow. His ability to listen deeply, understand fully, and respond with thoughtfulness made every family member feel valued and supported. Guidance and wisdom. Beyond affection, Charlie offered wisdom through both example and counsel. His moral clarity, principled approach to challenges, and calm demeanor in difficult situations provided his family with a model of integrity and resilience. They remember how he gently encouraged them to grow, to face life's obstacles with courage, and to make choices grounded in compassion and honesty. Cherished memories. From shared meals and quiet evenings at home to vacations and celebrations, family members recall moments that, while seemingly ordinary, were imbued with meaning because of Charlie's care and attention. His laughter, warmth, and thoughtful gestures transformed daily life into experiences cherished forever. Enduring impact. Even in his absence, Charlie's influence remains profound. His family carries forward the values he exemplified: empathy, loyalty, courage, and integrity, applying them in their own lives and teaching future generations through his example. The love he offered continues to nurture and inspire, a living testament to the depth and beauty of his character. Charlie Kirk's family reflections remind us that the essence of a life well lived is found not only in accomplishments, but in the enduring bonds of love, guidance, and care. Through his family, his spirit continues to shape the world he cherished, leaving a legacy that transcends time and circumstance. 9. Friends remember. Charlie Kirk's friendships were a testament to his loyalty, empathy, and warmth. To those who knew him, he was more than a companion, he was a confidant, a guide, and a source of unwavering support. Friends remember a man whose presence brought both comfort and inspiration, whose integrity and compassion shaped every relationship he nurtured. Loyalty and trust. Charlie valued his friends deeply, and they in turn trusted him implicitly. He approached each friendship with sincerity, respect, and attention, always mindful of the needs and feelings of others. Whether offering advice, providing encouragement, or simply sharing a quiet moment, he demonstrated that true friendship is measured not by words alone, but by consistent care and presence. Moments of joy and laughter. Many recall the laughter, adventures, and shared experiences that defined time spent with Charlie. From casual gatherings to journeys and shared hobbies, he had a gift for creating moments of connection and joy. Friends cherished his ability to make ordinary experiences memorable through his attentiveness, humor, and genuine engagement. Support in difficult times. Charlie's empathy was most evident in moments of challenge. Friends remember how he offered guidance, comfort, and encouragement without judgment. He approached each situation with thoughtfulness, helping others navigate difficulties while instilling confidence, hope, and resilience. His support was quiet but steady presence that strengthened the bonds of friendship and left an enduring impact. A lasting influence. Even after his passing, Charlie's friends carry forward the lessons of his life. The importance of integrity, the value of empathy, and the power of consistent care. His example continues to inspire them to live with principle, to cherish relationships, and to extend kindness in all aspects of life. Charlie Kirk's friendships remind us that the truest measure of a person is often reflected in the loyalty, love, and support they offer to others. Through his friends, his spirit lives on, guiding, comforting, and inspiring those fortunate enough to have known him. 10. Community and colleague tributes. Charlie Kirk's life extended far beyond the intimate circles of family and friends. His presence was felt deeply within the community and professional spheres, where his integrity, dedication, and compassion left a lasting impression. Colleagues and community members remember him as a person who not only performed his duties with excellence, but elevated those around him through example and encouragement, professional esteem, and collaboration. Within his professional environment, Charlie was respected not only for his competence, but for the fairness, honesty, and dedication with which he approached every task. Colleagues recall a man who fostered collaboration, supported the growth of others, and navigated challenges with integrity. He led not for recognition, but for the advancement of shared goals, ensuring that each achievement reflected the collective effort of those around him. Community engagement and service. Charlie's contributions to the wider community reflected his belief in service and responsibility. Whether through volunteer work, advocacy, or mentorship, he dedicated himself to causes greater than his own interests. Community members remember his attentiveness, empathy, and willingness to act, even in small but meaningful ways. These actions, often quiet and understated, had profound and lasting effects on the lives of those he served. Inspiration through example. Charlie's influence extended beyond tangible actions. His presence in the community inspired others to act with integrity, kindness, and courage. He demonstrated that leadership and impact are achieved not through power or authority alone, but through consistency, empathy, and principled behavior. Many who interacted with him recall being motivated to approach their own lives with greater thoughtfulness and care because of his example. A lasting legacy. The testimonies of colleagues and community members underscore a life that touched many, often in ways unseen but deeply felt. Charlie Kirk's legacy in these spheres is not measured by accolades, but by the respect he earned, the guidance he offered, and the positive influence he imparted on all who knew him. His contributions, though sometimes quiet, continue to resonate, inspiring others to live with principle, compassion, and courage. Charlie Kirk's community and professional reflections. affirm that the true measure of a life is found not in personal gain, but in the good it fosters in others. Through his example, he leaves a legacy that endures, a standard of character and service that will continue to guide and inspire. Part 4. Lessons from his life. The life of Charlie Kirk offers more than memories and tributes. It provides enduring lessons that continue to inspire those who reflect upon his character, actions, and values. His journey, marked by integrity, compassion, and courage, serves as a guide for living a meaningful and principled life. 11. Lessons. Integrity as a guiding principle. Charlie's unwavering integrity was evident in every aspect of his life. He demonstrated that honesty, moral clarity, and adherence to principle are not merely ideals, but essential practices that shape character and influence the lives of others. From his earliest years to his final days, he lived in alignment with his values, reminding us that a life of integrity fosters trust, respect, and lasting impact. Compassion and empathy in action. Charlie's empathy extended beyond words into thoughtful, consistent actions. He listened deeply, offered comfort, and supported others in ways that strengthened both individuals and communities. His life teaches that compassion is not a passive feeling, but an active force that enriches relationships and fosters collective well-being. Courage in the face of challenge. Challenges and adversity were met by Charlie with calm determination and moral courage. He exemplified the ability to act rightly, even when circumstances were difficult or uncertain. His example reminds us that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the resolve to do what is right despite it, and that such courage inspires others to face their own challenges with dignity and resolve. The value of relationships. Charlie's life underscores the importance of nurturing meaningful connections. Through family, friendship, professional collaboration, and community engagement, he demonstrated that relationships are the foundation of a life well lived. Loyalty, care, and attentiveness are the hallmarks of these connections, and they amplify the reach and impact of a person's life, far beyond individual achievements. Legacy through example. Perhaps the most enduring lesson of Charlie Kirk's life is the power of leading by example. His consistent adherence to values, his empathy, and his courage created ripples that continue to influence those who knew him. His life teaches that lasting impact is achieved not merely through words, but through the alignment of principles, actions, and character. Charlie Kirk's story is a reminder that a life of meaning is not measured solely by accomplishments, but by the love extended, the integrity maintained, and the positive difference made in the lives of others. Through reflection on his journey, we find guidance, inspiration, and a model of living that is both principled and compassionate, a legacy that endures in the hearts and actions of all who carry his memory forward. 12. Controversy, criticism, and defense of a legacy. Every life of consequence invites debate, and Charlie Kirk's was no exception. His convictions, decisions, and public presence drew admiration from many, yet also provoked criticism, skepticism, and even ridicule. To portray his life honestly is to acknowledge both the challenges of opposition he faced and the steadfast defense offered by those who loved and respected him. Voices of opposition. For some, Charlie's unyielding adherence to principle appeared inflexible. Critics accused him of holding too firmly to his beliefs, in a world that often demands compromise. Others mocked his outspoken manner, branding him with dismissive labels, intended to reduce the weight of his message. Public commentary, debates, and media scrutiny often amplified these criticisms, sometimes distorting his intentions and diminishing his humanity. The tragic cost of opposition. History would show, however, that opposition to Charlie sometimes bore grave consequences. Among those who stood against him were individuals later revealed to have played roles in the conspiracy that led to his assassination. Others who openly ridiculed him in professional settings found their actions reflected back upon them. Some were dismissed from their positions or discredited in their fields. In ways foreseen and unforeseen, the attempts to diminish Charlie ultimately reflected more poorly on his detractors than on the man himself. resilience in the face of ridicule. Charlie himself bore criticism with composure, accepting that ridicule is often the cost of living authentically. He understood that being true to one's convictions may invite harsh words, but to abandon those convictions would be a far greater loss. In this way, even the criticisms he endured revealed his strength of character and his willingness to carry burdens for the sake of principle, defenders and supporters. In response, friends, family, colleagues, and community members rose to defend him. They countered accusations of rigidity with testimonies of consistency and moral clarity. They rejected portrayals of stubbornness, instead describing a man of sincerity, empathy, and unwavering honesty. Those who worked alongside him highlighted his collaboration, his respect for others, and his determination to achieve collective good, rather than personal recognition. A balanced legacy. Taken together, the voices of both criticism and defense reveal a complex but deeply human portrait. The very intensity of opposition proves that Charlie mattered, that his words carried weight, his actions stirred response, and his presence could not be ignored. His defenders remind us that history often softens the sharp edges of contemporary criticism, allowing the true worth of a life to shine more clearly over time. The greater measure. Ultimately, Charlie Kirk's legacy is not defined by those who ridiculed him, nor even by those who defended him most passionately, but by the enduring values he lived: integrity, courage, and compassion. Criticism and defense alike testify to his significance together. They affirm that he was a man whose life and message demanded engagement. In this, Charlie's story teaches us that to live with conviction is to accept opposition and to leave behind a legacy that endures, long after the voices of debate fall silent. Part V. Final Days and Farewell. 13. The Final Days of Charlie Kirk's Life. The final days of Charlie Kirk's life were marked by the same dignity, courage, and grace that defined his entire journey. Though his passing was a profound loss to all who knew him, those days are remembered not only for sorrow, but for the enduring presence of his character, the love shared with family and friends, and the quiet strength that remained even in the face of mortality. Moments of reflection and connection. In his last days, Charlie remained deeply attentive to the relationships and values that had shaped his life. Surrounded by loved ones, he expressed gratitude, shared memories, and offered guidance and comfort to those around him. These moments, though tinged with sadness, were also filled with the warmth, empathy, and attentiveness that had defined his life. Family members recall conversations imbued with wisdom, encouragement, and the unmistakable presence of his caring spirit. Farewells and final words. Friends, colleagues, and family were afforded the opportunity to express their love and gratitude, sharing farewells that were both heartfelt and transformative. Charlie's ability to listen, reassure, and connect remained evident until the end, leaving an indelible impression on all who were present. Even in silence, his presence conveyed encouragement, love, and moral clarity, a final testament to a life lived with integrity and compassion. Legacy of courage and grace. The circumstances of his passing, though tragic, highlighted the qualities that defined Charlie's life. His courage, dignity, and unyielding adherence to principle in the face of adversity became a final lesson for all who knew him. The grace with which he faced the end of his life reinforces the enduring lessons of resilience, moral clarity, and the power of character in shaping the lives of others. Remembrance and continuing influence. Though Charlie Kirk is no longer physically present, his influence continues to resonate through the lives he touched. Family, friends, colleagues, and the wider community carry forward his values: integrity, empathy, courage, and humility, ensuring that his spirit endures beyond his passing. His life serves as a reminder that the essence of a person is measured not only by the years they live, but by the depth of love shared, the principles upheld, and the positive difference made in the lives of others. A life to inspire. Charlie's final days were a reflection of the life he led: purposeful, principled, compassionate, and courageous. As we remember him, we are called not only to mourn the loss, but to honor his memory by embodying the qualities he exemplified. Through reflection, storytelling, and continued commitment to the values he cherished, Charlie Kirk's legacy lives on, inspiring future generations to lead lives of integrity, empathy, and meaningful connection. If you like, I can next draft the closing reflection, unifying the memorial book with a final message that celebrates Charlie's life, affirms his lessons, and encourages readers to carry forward his legacy. 14. Closing reflection. As we bring this memorial to a close, we pause to reflect on the remarkable life of Charlie Kirk, a life defined by integrity, courage, compassion, and enduring love. Through every chapter of his journey, he exemplified the principles that make a life meaningful, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire all who knew him. Charlie's story reminds us that the measure of a life is not found solely in accomplishments, recognition, or longevity, but in the depth of relationships nurtured, the consistency of moral character, and the positive influence one has on the world. His empathy, steadfastness, and courage shaped not only his own path, but the lives of family, friends, colleagues, and community members, creating a ripple effect that will endure for generations. Though the sorrow of his absence is profound, so too is the gratitude for the moments shared, the lessons imparted, and the inspiration drawn from his example. Every act of kindness, every word of wisdom, every gesture of support and understanding continues to echo, reminding us of the extraordinary human being that Charlie was. As readers of this memorial, we are invited to carry forward the virtues that defined his life, to live with integrity, to act with courage, to treat others with compassion, and to cherish every moment of connection. In doing so, we honor Charlie Kirk not only in memory, but in the living embodiment of the values he held dear. May this book serve as a lasting testament to a life well lived, a spirit that continues to guide, and a legacy that inspires all who encounter it. In remembering Charlie, we are reminded that though life is finite, the influence of a principled, compassionate, and courageous life is boundless. The end